He gets to wear fucking glasses. How come the fuck he gets to wear glasses?
You know what, Jamie? I will take them off.
No.
for you.
I wear glasses all day, and I don't get to because they reflect the light, and so I feel old and ugly.
You look amazing.
And you get to wear glasses.
Is that on camera?
Seriously.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, by the way, I'm geeking out. We are on the Universal lot. Up the street there is the Psycho house. I just saw your Instagram. You posted a photo in front of the house today. You and your mom are in two of the most iconic horror movies of all
isn't
time.
it funny?
I'm wondering, when your mom saw Psycho, or when your mom saw Halloween, what did you think of Halloween, and what did you take from her performance in Psycho that you used in Halloween?
You know, honestly, it was a long time ago. I really don't remember. She was just proud of me. You know, they're your parents.
Yeah.
I saw True Lies with Tony at a big premiere, and I just remembered there's that moment when she's dancing and she lets go of the pole. Telling you, he just you know, there are moments where you go, oh, they were really proud. I think she was just very proud of me. We don't talk about those things.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Listen, if you don't think it's surreal for you, I'm driving up here. We're kind of going left. They go left on Jimmy Stewart, and then it's like right on Janet Leigh, left on Tony Curtis. It's like, wait, it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. It's all weird. It's
Yeah.
all weird. Everything's weird.
So I'm a huge fan of movie trivia. I love, and this blew my mind.
Okay, come
I'm
on.
going to show this to you. So the original Michael Myers mask is a Captain Kirk mask from Star Trek.
Yeah.
I was wanting to know what your perspective of this story was and how this came about.
Okay. That, I guarantee you, is not the original Captain Kirk mask.
Okay.
I just guarantee you. I think this was, like, rebuilt later.
Right.
So, I know that the story was, you have to remember, we made the movie in March of 1978. There was no Amazon. There was no buy it now. You know, the art director, Tommy Wallace, probably was digging through boxes of latex masks in a costume shop somewhere in Los Angeles. And it had to be a human face. And because that was how it was written, this sort of enigmatic face. And they literally just took the mask, took all the facial hair off it, spray painted it white, and made it. And it was a Captain Kirk mask. But by the time it was in the movie, it was Michael.
Yeah, it's insane. Now, one of the things I love about this movie is the idea that we're 40 years later in the character. It's a direct sequel.
Yes.
And we're learning the impact of what the first Halloween had on your character,
Yes.
Laurie Strode. You know, that was a big movie for your career. And as we sit here right now, I'm curious, looking back on that film, what was the biggest impact you think that film had on your personal life, but also your career as an actress?
Well, it had everything. First of all, it's probably the best part I will ever get to play. It was the most rounded, complete character that I think, as much as John Carpenter is responsible for the movie, Deborah Hill, who we lost about 10 years ago, I think was directly responsible for Laurie Strode. I think her voice is in the movie very much in Laurie's words. And that movie changed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, changed my life.
You know, one of the lines in the movie that I love is this moment where this one of the characters says there were 5 deaths at this character in the first Halloween, and by today's standards, doesn't seem that bad. He says that, which is interesting because, you know, horror movies have gotten way more violent over the years. What do you think it is about horror and the idea of desensitizing elements and audiences to violence? And this film, while it is more brutal, it still feels classic and kind of a throwback to what Carpenter did in the 70s.
You know, I try not to politicize it or try to come up with some intellectual idea about it. What I think is scariest is that it's a small town in Everytown, USA, and Laurie Strode was Every Girl, USA. It was this ubiquity, this very relaxed, safe, day in, day out existence that then is interrupted by this very pure evil, enigmatic creature, Michael Myers, who, by the way, could walk by here at any second because he's in the neighborhood. Just FYI. And I think that's really what made it great. The desensitized, all of the rest of it, I can say say it again?
I've practiced it in the mirror like 40 times. Desensitized.
Well, I know, but then make it, well, forget it. Because add a fication to it. Desensitification. It's useless.
Yeah.
I think really the point is that I have no opinion about horror movies and what they say about our society.
Yeah.
All I know is that what made Halloween really effective was that it was very simple and terrifying.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, thank you so much.
That's it? What are you talking
I
about?
have so many questions for you.
What
but-
else is in the bag?
Oh, actually, you're going to freak out about this.
Come on.
My wife found this book online. I don't know how she found this, but it's the actual Doom
Oh,
March.
yes, I have a few of
But there's
these.
real writing in it.
Well, no.
Like, what's inside there?
Well, it's obviously some book that it's called Best Friends, Occasional Enemies. I mean, it's not. I know, the new feminism.
Yeah.
Come on.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
by the way.
you. Super fun.
I am going to grab a picture with you if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank
Come
you
on.
so much. All right, so to be here talking about a Halloween film with both of you is absolutely incredible. One of my favorite shots in the history of cinema is the long tracking shot at the beginning of the first Halloween.
Yeah.
I was always wondering how many takes it took to do that shot, but also how did you get the eyes with the mask over it? How did you pull that off?
Ooh, well, it was 5 takes, and the eyes in the mask is done by MGM Optical Department.
Really?
Yeah.
But in the shot, how are you applying it as it's happening?
Oh, well, we're not. It's done afterwards. It's post-production.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh, yeah. You know, there's a cut in there too.
Where's
It's
the-
not all one take, but I can't tell you.
Do you know where this cut is?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, there's a cut in there.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll look for it now.
Yeah, well, you won't see it. You'll never see it. We hid it. We buried it big time.
It's like Hitchcock used to do in Rope when he went behind like Jimmy Stewart's back and like
right,
he'd cut the
yeah.
camera.
That was for the. That was practical.
Real change.
because
That was real change.
That was
Oh,
real
yeah.
change.
That's amazing.
That was real change. They were.
Well, can you imagine that?
How long was it real? 15 minutes.
Was it
Standard
20?
reel was 10 minutes long.
10 minutes. So every
Oh,
10 minutes
man.
they had to change reels.
So I know that this is something you talked about a million times. I still find this mind blowing. I spent $50 on this the other day. I know this is not the exact original, but this is the Captain Kirk. I know you get asked this question a lot, but this is the Captain Kirk mask.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by how that came about and how much it cost Tommy to get that. And then how did you manipulate it to make it to become the mask? And then when did you stop using the Kirk mask eventually?
Well, okay, I have nothing to do with it after we finished Halloween. I don't know what they did with it. I think they kept changing the mask, movie
right.
by movie.
Right.
Captain Kirk mask looks nothing like Captain Kirk. It just looks like a man.
It does. Have you
Okay.
seen this, Jason?
No, let me
This
see
is
that.
this is
Now,
the,
but is this the same one? Is this what it looked like?
Yeah, that's it. Basically it.
This is what it looked like.
But what
40
we
years
did was
ago?
we sprayed it white.
Amazing.
We fucked with the hair, sorry.
It's
and
okay.
then we cut the eye holes out.
Bigger.
And
Oh,
took
bigger,
this
right,
and took this
right,
off.
right.
And it just made it scary.
Yeah, it was really
Crazy.
freaky.
This is
It's really cool how they did that.
But it's just nothing. I mean, it doesn't look like him particularly.
It doesn't
No?
at
It
all.
doesn't
Look at all like him.
Yeah. you know what I love about what you did with this film and the music specifically. The original score is obviously genius, but there's like this almost like this heavy metal vibe that like whoa, and it ramps up a little bit. Can you talk about Jason as a producer, but also bringing in new elements of a score, but also bringing back.
Well,
the
John
classic.
did the music
Yeah.
did all the music
Oh, yeah.
on the new movie. So
Yeah.
so John should talk about that.
The heavy metal aspect is my godson Daniel, whose father is Dave Davies of the Kinks.
Oh wow.
And my Daniel is a guitar player, and he's bowing the guitar with a violin bow. That's what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that original theme, though, how long did it take you to come up with that? Where did it come from? That was
My
such a,
father taught me 5/4 time on the bongos when I was 13. That's Halloween. That's it.
wow. Wanted to ask you this for many years now. Where does your logo come from? What is the chair?
Oh, it's cool.
What is the logo?
The logo, interestingly enough, at Halloween Horror Nights, there's a third of the maze is based on our logo this year,
Wow.
which was not my idea, but I think it's cool. The logo, we had a great guy who did a really good job for us on, I think, on Sinister. Oh, no, it was before that. And I said, for $2,000, could you come up with something cool? And he came up, his name is Aaron Sims, and he came up with that thing, and I loved it. And
It's
we
so
use it.
iconic to who you are. I see that logo now. I know this is going to be a damn good movie, is what I say to myself. You know, I found it interesting in the movie, and forgive me for not knowing this. In the film, there's a sheet that says Michael Myers' name as they're going over the bus list of who escaped. And it says Michael A. Myers. And I was reading online that the A is actually Audrey. As his middle name, and if I'm wrong on that, because apparently David Gordon Green is saying that I should ask you about what his middle name would
I have
have
no
been.
idea what you're talking about,
Really?
nor do I have any idea what his middle name is.
Oh.
I have no idea.
There's an A in his name
Well,
on
good,
the sheet.
good.
I was always curious.
Let's say it's Audrey.
I heard
We
it
just
was.
decided.
That's so fascinating. One of the cool things I love about this movie is this concept of the credits as the pumpkin is going up. Can you talk about that concept? Because in your film, I believe it was deflating, right? And then in this film, and it's blowing back up. Talk about that, the difference, how you wanted to create that.
That was I think it was 100% David.
That's
Did
it.
you have any? Did he
We
ever
had-
ta-
I
did
had
he ever-
nothing to do with
Did he
it.
ever talk to you about
No,
it? Me
no,
neither.
no.
I was a surprise when I saw it. I was happily surprised, but that was David Gordon Green all the way.
Wow.
See, the great creative aspects of this movie have nothing to do with us.
They don't. They really don't.
Hey, we wouldn't be here if
That's
it
not
wasn't
true.
for you or
They
you.
have. They have much more to do with John. But
This
but
is David's movie.
David-
I gotta
David
say
really
it right
created
now.
it.
It's David's movie, and he's great.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, congratulations to you. One of my favorite things about the first Halloween is the Steadicam use, that opening shot specifically in the original. And you have some really cool Steadicam long takes here, especially when he goes to pick up the hammer. What was there an idea of incorporating that, like a Steadicam, that long continuous shots into your film to kind of pay homage to what he did in the original?
Definitely. And I think it does something psychologically to know. I mean, some people don't pick up that there's no cuts, especially a sequence this long. But we're with him, and we know there's a pace and an intensity to that.
What do you think it is like? We're watching the actual screening last night, and people are cheering as he puts his mask on. You're cheering for, like, essentially a murderer.
Yeah.
What is it about? How do you feel about that in a sense? Because you're watching a movie, but like this guy's doing some horrendous things, but for some reason it feels like it's just a fun fan event to watch the film with a group of people like that.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that, I guess. but I come to terms with it that I feel like Michael Myers has now fully been Hall of Famed into movie monster lore, right? So just as much as Wolfman or the Mummy, or these kind of iconic characters that we are drawn to their mythology, I think he's entered that realm.
Yeah.
I
was sitting next to my wife at the premiere, and I didn't know this story, and forgive me if I have any facts of this wrong, but you're working on Stronger. Jake Gyllenhaal is obviously very close with Jamie Lee Curtis. How did he just hand you a phone and you started talking to her? Is that how it went down? How did that go down?
I said, please put in a good word for me, because I have a very unattainable task. The goal was to convince someone who had previously been killed off in a franchise to be reborn and revisit that role. And I was very passionate about working with her, and knowing that they were close, I've had him put in a good word phone call, and then I followed up, and he'd laid the groundwork, so that was good. I did a little sweet talking on top.
Insane. Now, talking about bringing back the original Michael Myers, Nick, which is unbelievable. And he's obviously in the opening scene of the film. So I'm assuming you have a guy playing him in the mask, and then he's playing him out of the mask. How does that work? Are there two different Michael Myers?
There were a few different ones. Most of the film is played by stuntman Jim Courtney.
Okay.
And then a few key moments, such as when Laurie first makes eye contact with the Shape. When she sees him up in the window, those were important, dramatic moments to have Nick there, and he gave us Shape lessons, because if you watch the franchise as a whole, in different episodes he would have a little different mask or different characteristics. I really wanted to play Michael Myers as close to what Nick did in the original film as we could, so it was fun to have him on set. So even if a stuntman was playing the part, he would be there to navigate or illustrate how to turn your head, or how to give a little curious head tilt one way or the other. And then there were a couple of specialty performers it would just be so fun to see a guy that was going to go get thrown down a staircase or whatever, that could sit up at a perfect 90-degree angle.
That shot is amazing when he steps up.
Yeah.
One of the things I was actually curious about, and forgive my ignorance in not knowing this, Michael Myers on the sheet in the movie, it says Michael A. Myers. What's
Yes.
the A?
Audrey.
So how can you, I don't know the story behind that. What is?
I don't either. I don't understand why, but for whatever reason, and I think it was, I may be wrong about this, but I feel like it was established in some additional footage for the original film that they created to air on television.
Wow.
And then they revealed that his middle name is Audrey.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I should ask John about that. I've never asked him about that.
I will ask him that
That's
next
a
time,
good
and I'll
question.
come back and run by and
Yeah,
give it to you.
I didn't know the answer.
Well, hey, thank you so much for talking.
Good talk.